and we do have another caller standing by. On the line is Brenda. What's your question tonight, Brenda?
December the 14th of 2021, I was on my way to work, and this 18-wheeler had stopped in the road. No flashers on, no nothing, saying he had stopped. All of a sudden, he started backing up, and I laid down on my horn, and he just kept on coming back, kept on coming back. Finally, he just ran over my car with me in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that was around me all came running out, trying to get him to stop, and he just wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to literally prise my door open to get me out. And I was taken to the hospital, and they said I had what they call a compress, not a whiplash, and I had to have carotid artery surgery and everything. And 2 weeks later, I had a stroke. The question I have is that this trucking company's insurance is not willing to settle with me at all. They're wanting to get more and more and more and more information,
Mm-hmm.
and I've done sent them a stack of information, on everything.
Thank you so much for your call. A lot of factors going on in her situation there. What's your advice for Brenda?
Well, Brenda, first let me say I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Luckily for you, it sounds like what you said something important. A lot of people, it sounded like there were a lot of witnesses around you. The fact that the truck backed up into you, if you didn't have witnesses, they would probably try to say that you ran into the back of the truck. But luckily, it sounds like you have witnesses, and you're not going to have an issue of liability of who's at fault. But the insurance company is going to want you to give them basically all of your medical history, because what they want to do is go back and see, before they try to settle your case, if they can show you had some kind of pre-existing condition or degenerative condition, because that allows them to give you less money. So the more you give them, that's right up their alley. That's what they want. They want to have everything in their back pocket before they even talk settlement with you.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You just told her the medical history. Is that something you have to provide, or how does that work?
So the way we do it is if you put a particular body part at issue in a case, so if you're claiming a neck injury, well, then the other side would have the right to go back and see if you've had any previous neck issues. But what this sounds like they're doing to Brenda is they're going on a fishing expedition, because they're going to try to get every body part. So if she ever claims an issue with back, neck, whatever, they'll have her complete medical history.
And she has to provide that, or
if it's a body part that's not at issue, no.
Mm-hmm, okay.
They're not entitled to get some of your personal medical history.
Okay.
If it's not related to the injuries you're claiming in the case, there's no need for them to have that. It's irrelevant.
I hope that helps you out, Brenda. That's pretty scary, though, to be sitting there and watching the big 18-wheeler back up at you, and you can't do. Oh my!
It sounds
God.
like she couldn't. Maybe somebody was behind her. She couldn't. She was stuck. So that,
I was feeling it as she was describing it there. Oh
scary.
My God, that's scary. Okay, and a good thing too is you talked about those witnesses. Talk about the importance of grabbing up all the evidence right there, the witnesses and pictures and all that.
It's really important. Nowadays we have cell phones, we have cameras and things like that. But it's important to get photographs, to get names of people, because, and just as you mentioned, she was probably scared to death, and the truck's backing into her. She's not thinking about, I got to get witness names. She's worried about what's going on. But if you can keep your wits about you, and as long as you're okay physically, if you're able to, it's always best to get witness information, get photographs, because those people will leave, and when you go to get the witnesses, sometimes they don't stick around for the police officer. Yeah. They have other places to go, things to do. So you don't want to miss out on the opportunity to have a witness that can come forward and tell your side of the story.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Let's talk about telling your side of the story. When that officer's there and they're gathering the details for that police report, can you share information as well, or do you have the right to hear what the other party is saying to you right there on the scene?
So normally the way it works is the police officer, unless someone's getting medical attention or something like that, will try to speak with both parties separately.
Okay.
They want to hear what one person has to say and then come back and get your version of what happened. And they'll get the information, they go back, and it usually takes a few days. They'll put together a full report. Then you get a copy of that report. But I've had clients who have disagreed with something on the accident report, who's actually called the officer, and I've had amendments to accident reports because they say this isn't accurate, and they say why, and the officer will sometimes do an amendment to the report.
Okay.
But so that is possible as well.
Yes. Okay. All right.